Hey everyone, it's Karen Paddock, and I am here with my friend and communications, I want to get this right, Lane, communication strategist specializing in copy and conversion, my friend Lane Amen. Hi, Lane.
Hi, I'm so happy to get a chance to talk with you.
Yeah, so thanks for pointing out to me that you've written this amazing article, and we're going to get to talking about what's in the article, or I really should say a mini training. But I knew that this was going to be super impactful for my audience because this, as an online marketer, or really anyone making sales anywhere online, we talk about a lot, sales pages. And you being a copy strategist specialist, you know that a sales page is super important. And if you don't have that tweaked, it can often cause lack of sales. So tell us a little bit about why, well, let me just set this up. So the name of your article is 11 Reasons Your Sales Page Isn't Converting and What to Do About It.
Right.
Tell us why you wrote this article and kind of where it started from.
Well, a lot of the clients I work with spend a ton of time getting their funnel right, like all the pieces in place, all the infrastructure, and they worry a lot about that. And they know they need a sales page, but it's almost like it's like this thing, like a Lego brick you can just plop down. Or either they think it's kind of generic and it's easy to produce, or it is such a huge thing to them that it's overwhelming and they don't know where to start. So it seems like people fall on one of the two extremes. So I wanted to just get into it a little bit and tell people what they could specifically do, just easy tweaks. The stuff that I cover in the article aren't difficult things. And any one of them could make a drastic difference in your ability to get people to actually read your sales page. Because the sales page isn't just a destination. It in itself is part of the sales process. And I wanted people to realize that.
Right. Awesome. So that's true. When I'm working with my clients, it's also a conversation around that the sales page needs to tell a story, right? And you're going to go into all of that. It needs to speak the language of your ideal client. It's more than just about making that sale. And so when they start thinking thinking in those terms of, okay, I'm telling a story, I'm capturing their attention, I'm really getting to the emotion of the problem that they feel that they have, and then talking about the solution, now suddenly it makes sense. And that's where you can't really drop this like, okay, there's a template and you can just fill in these blanks and boom, you have, a converting sales page. It doesn't work like that, does it?
No, it doesn't. Oftentimes we work so hard to get people to the sales page that we forget that that's kind of just one step. That's not the sale. The sale actually, like I said, the sales page should be, just like you said, taking people on a journey, telling them a story, getting them from, okay, I've got a little bit of interest. Now let's close that deal.
Yep. Okay. So let's talk about the article specifically. We definitely don't have time to go through all 11, and I definitely want people to go read it. But let's talk about, you choose, like pick a couple of them that you feel, would be a great starter conversation as far as how to go test the sales pages that you have, or if you're in the process of writing one right now, where do you want to start looking at that sales page?
Right. I think let's start at the top, because that's kind of the most important thing, because when people get to the sales page, they're starting at the top. Their eyes are right there. And if you lose them there, then they're not going to read the rest of the page. So let's start right there and just cover a couple things that are right on that very first screen. And what we call that is above the fold. And that phrase came from the newspaper industry, when people used to fold the newspaper, and where the fold was, what was above the fold was the most important stuff. And you wanted compelling copy and photos and a story above the fold. So in the internet world, it's that first screen we're talking about. So when people come, what's the first thing they see without scrolling, without doing anything? And there's a couple things that people should be doing on that very first screen. And one is a compelling headline. And I call it the welcome mat to the page. If you're not pulling people in, if you're not telling them, come on, this is really of interest to you, you're going to lose them right away. And there's a couple mistakes people make there. One is they don't recognize that people coming to the page may find it organically, and they may have no idea who you are and what you do. So sometimes entrepreneurs or marketers assume that there's this whole back history that visitors already have. You can't do that. You have to assume if somebody came to your page cold, would they understand what you do, who you are, what you're offering on this page? So the headline, I like to invite people in. So if I was directing something to health and fitness professionals, I might say something like personal trainers, aerobics, I'm just going to make some stuff up, aerobics instructors, yoga masters, this is for you, or that's a really kind of lame example, but letting people know, oh my gosh, this is for me, or no, this isn't for me.
Right.
So I like to invite them in and say, hey, this is something you're going to be interested in. So that headline is super important.
Super cool. Definitely so important to be, again, that's why it's important to know who your ideal client is, because you want to be able to call them out. We use the same technique when we write ads on Facebook, right? We want to be able to put in that ad, call out to our exact client, marketers, fitness pros, right? Health and wellness professionals, coaches, things like that. We want to be able to call specifically out to them so that they know immediately, hey, I'm in the right place. This is for me. And once you answer that question, if you get that out of the way, I think they tend to put their guard down a little bit and then really embrace the rest of the sales copy versus kind of lingering in the back of their mind. They're wondering, is this for me? Is this for me? Is this for me?
Right. And another way you can do that, which I didn't get into in this list because it's a little more pervasive and goes through the whole communication strategy, is something you said when you were introducing our conversation, the idea of speaking their language.
Yeah.
And for instance, I have one client who, our friend Jason Cannon, who creates Linux courses for Linux, people who want to become Linux system administrators.
Yeah.
And I was working on a sales page for him, and it was really critical to me that I got the vocabulary, the lingo correct, because if I use something that falls flat with that market, they're going to know immediately that I'm not one of them. And Jason most definitely is one of them.
Yeah.
So I was asking him, do Linux people call them, sorry, that's my phone. Sorry about that. Do they call themselves sysadmins? Do they call them systems administrators?
Right.
Is it system administrator? All those little details that are so critical because it immediately tells people he or she is one of us, he or she isn't one of us. Yep. And we want it to be authentic. So that's really critical, is to speak their language.
Yeah.
So that's something I wanted to emphasize.
Great tip. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more, and then we'll tell them how they can get to the whole entire mini training.
Great. So the other thing that I love to have above the fold is some kind of eye-catching image. Ooh. And I think this is especially critical because so many people, I think it's over half or right about half, are accessing your sales page from a mobile device, whether that's a tablet or a phone. And I have the big old 6S Plus, and it's still hard to read. Maybe it's my old eyes. You have to remember that it's very difficult to read a lot of text on a mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone. And so it's essential that you have some kind of image above the fold. Yeah. And the one that I love most is the image of a person. It doesn't have to be you if you're a little bit shy about putting yourself out there. I do talk about that a little bit in the article, but some kind of image. People seek out, their eyes seek out other people. That's one of the things that we're just hardwired to look for. So if you have some kind of image above the fold, along with a strong headline, that is the two most powerful things you can do to increase the odds that somebody's actually going to engage with your page and keep reading.
Really good tip, for sure. Images do make a big difference. And it seems to me like that's like something I've been slow in learning, but it definitely, and maybe it's just like you're saying, some people are shy. And so as you build your business, you really have to embrace that face brand awareness, right? Like so many of us are just small business owners, and it's important for us to step into that role of, I'm always saying, the face of our brand. And sometimes it's a little slow coming because it's just, you're used to being behind the computer, but getting out there, even just any normal image, it doesn't have to be these big flashy images like a lot of the big marketers have, just really everyday images that people can connect with. Like, you're just a real person. You're just someone that's a few steps ahead of them in this process, right? With the answers. And I get it. I get that now. I totally get it.
And something people can do if they are really hesitant to put themselves front and center is to put your clients front and center. On Jason's page, in fact, I think the very first thing at the top of the page, even before the headline, is a testimonial from one of his students.
Okay.
Where it's just such a powerful testimonial with a little headshot. And it says something like, this course 100% made me a better Linux sysadmin, or whatever the phrase is.
Yes.
But use some kind of face that is an everyday person. I don't like the stock photos. That's better than nothing, but I would much rather see an less polished real person than the, the stock photos of the business people and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Great tip.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to say the name of your mini training. I'm not going to call it an article because it's so much more than that.
Thank you.
11 reasons your sales page isn't converting and what to do about it. To be able to read Lane's amazing mini training and test your own sales pages, if you go to KarenPaddock.com/Lane, LAIN, you will be automatically linked over to Lane's website. But Lane, we want to know how we can reach you as well. How can they get directly in touch with you if they want help with their copy?
Definitely. And one thing I wanted to mention is when you go through, you can actually download a checklist.
Oh, okay.
That will give you a cheat sheet. I think it's a couple pages. And then you can just have that on hand. So when you are looking at your sales pages or even landing pages and things like that, you've got a checklist right there just to remind you. So there's that available.
So good. Yeah. So good.
So people can find me at fastlane.com. So www.fastlain.com. I'm also on Facebook. It's facebook.com/lifewithlane. And I would love to connect with people. If they have any questions or just want to run something by me, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to get in touch.
All right. Lane is an amazing copywriter, you guys. So definitely, if you have copy questions, want her assistance, reach out to her. She will be a huge, huge help to you. Thanks, Lane. Thanks for talking about the article. I really wanted to do something special for this because it is such an amazing piece of resource.
Thank you.
All of the people following.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.